Hey guys, so today I'm here with the JLT V3.0 driver's side oil separator in black, fitting all 2012 to 2018 JK Wranglers with the 3.6 liter V6 engine. So this is going to be for the JK owners with either a stock or modified engine looking to reduce that blow-by and increase the protection on your engine, essentially increasing the longevity with a high quality mod. So with a system like this, essentially what it's doing is capturing all of those oily vapors that are created in combustion, separating the oil from the air, catching all the oil down in this catch can here, and rerouting that clean air back into your PVC system. So without a system like this, what's going to happen is basically those oily vapors could potentially get into your intake system and gum up your valves, which can decrease the lifespan or the longevity of your engine. So this option by JLT is going to eliminate that with a high quality design and a high quality modification here. So this is going to have a solid design. It's made of an aluminum construction. It has a nice black anodized finish on the outside, protecting that aluminum underneath. And on the inside, it's going to have a honeycomb filter and a mesh screen to optimize that filtration. Now, what I do like is the fact that this has a higher capacity than JLT's previous models and some other models on the page with the 3-ounce catch can down at the bottom. So this is going to decrease that maintenance over time. So you're really only going to have to empty out the catch can. All you have to do is screw off the bottom and empty that every 5,000 to 7,000 miles in comparison to some of the other options with a smaller capacity that you will have to essentially maintenance more. So I do want to mention that this is not carb certified, so if you do live in an emission restrictive state, I would keep that in mind when shopping around for oil separators. So this is going to be roughly $140, and I personally think for the functionality as well as the high quality design that it fits very well in that price point. So other options on the page, there's not going to be a lot of choices, but this is going to be your only option with the highest capacity that is also specific to the 3.6 liter V6 engine. Other options on the page may be a little bit more generic, fitting a couple other models, and then some other options, like I mentioned, are going to have those lower capacities. They may have 2 ounces or a 1-ounce catch can down at the bottom. So overall, I do think that this is a high quality build. It's definitely worth the money, and it's very easy to install. It comes with everything that you need. You even get this little bracket over here that's going to be the same build as the catch can. It's going to be an aluminum construction with a black anodized finish, and it even has JLT at the top for a little bit of branding and style inside your engine bay. So speaking of that install, it's going to be very easy. Again, at a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. It's probably going to take you about 15 to 20 minutes to get this thing installed, and you're going to need some basic hand tools. So speaking of that install, let's jump into that now. The tools that I used for this install were a Phillips head screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, a 3/8 inch drive ratchet, and an 8mm socket. So our first step is to obviously open our hood, and then we can go ahead and pop our engine cover off. It's just going to be held in by a couple of grommets, so all you have to do is lift up and we can get that out of the way. So our next step is to mount up our bracket. So we're going to remove this 8mm bolt here with an 8mm socket. So after we have that removed, we can grab our bracket and sandwich that in between and reinstall that 8mm bolt. Once you have that threaded in, we can just tighten that down with our 8mm socket. So after we have the bracket mounted up, now we can mount up our oil separator. So what we're going to do next is mount up our oil separator. You want to make sure that the lines are facing the front of the Jeep, since we are going to route it underneath our intake tube, and that the T is facing the front and the J is facing the rear. So what we can do is kind of get these lines out of the way and in position before we go ahead and bolt this up, make it a little bit easier. We start to route these underneath the intake tube. So once those are underneath the intake tube and we get our oil separator in place, we can grab the provided Phillips head screws and screw the oil separator into our bracket. So once you have those threaded in, we can take a Phillips head screwdriver and just tighten those down. So after our oil separator is tightened down to our bracket, we can move on to the lines. So what we want to do next is disconnect our PCV pipe. So we're just going to pull back from our intake, disconnect our tube here. We need a flathead screwdriver to kind of push this off. So you might have to just twist and pull, and once that's off, we can attach this side, which is going to be the male side, to the J portion that we just took off our factory PCV. We can go ahead and pop that back on to where it was originally. Then we can take our other line and we can connect it to the other side where we just disconnected that coupler. So after that's seated and in place, we can just pop that back in to where it was sitting on our intake. So after you have all your hoses connected, we can go ahead and pop on our engine cover. Just press down and it'll pop into the grommets. And then we can close up our hood and then you're all set to go. So that's gonna wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe, and for more videos like this, always keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.